that people are getting hurt and they are being led by an administration that really does not seem interested in solving people's problems and seems to, at some point, cruelty being the point. So we can't change that right now, right? But what we can do is that we can make there be a high cost to the administration when they try to hurt people and violate the law.
What are some of your key victories? If you've seen, I think when we last talked, you just filed suit, I think, with the Quakers of all things, about raids on churches with ICE. I mean, have you seen some victories against that? Probably ICE.
Absolutely. That case has been successful. We secured a court order that is still in place protecting the Quaker meeting houses, a Baptist denomination that represents 750,000 Baptists, and a big Sikh temple in San Francisco. They had their the government is under court order, and ICE cannot engage in these indiscriminate operations there. We have filed last week. I'm glad you asked about that. Last week, we filed another big case on behalf of more houses of worship.
Wonderful.
Try to secure the same order. If you are a person that's listening in and you've got community members or know folks that rely on services like Meals on Wheels or Head Start or community small business credits or all types of these community programs, Democracy Forward is the organization. Our lawyers basically have litigated and stopped the quote funding freezes that the administration tried to put in place, the national funding freeze, the funding freeze on the Infrastructure Act, which is a lot of community investment, job creation. We've sued there. Another victory. We had a victory. We stopped the decimation of the Department of Education. The Supreme Court has stayed that on its shadow docket, although it has not said that what Trump was doing is lawful. But importantly, we brought a follow-on because he also tried to withhold $7 billion of public school funding that would have really crushed budgets, schools starting up, this week in some places. And we have been able to get the Trump administration to back off in the face of that litigation. They've sent the funds out. Other victories, we've had some more in the immigration context. We've had some in the federal worker context, although that is a slog. We're continuing to litigate those things every day. The ABA winning a thing for them where the court just said this is violation of the First Amendment, it's retaliation. And then you've, I think, talked about this some, but the administration is also trying to require these certifications. They want everybody that engages with the government to have to certify that they don't engage in diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. These are blatant violations of the First Amendment. I mean, you can set the civil rights laws aside, even though they're blatant violations of those under any reasonable interpretation of the law. These are blatant violations of the First Amendment, and we've been able to secure a number of wins there, although that's going to continue to be a fight. We've kept Doge. We exposed a lot around Doge. We kept Doge out of Social Security data for a period of weeks. That's another one that the Supreme Court has stayed on its shadow docket, but that we're vigorously litigating. So I think there's a lot of victories here. And even in the setbacks, what we see, and when there's a setback in court, there's usually a win in the public square, because usually by the time we face some type of setback in court, either from the Supreme Court or elsewhere, people are already activated. They're out in the streets. We had that litigation that said in the United States, there is no kings. And you've seen that be a rallying cry now for people. So we're, that's where we're getting our energy right now.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of wins. I mean, it's hard to see it, right? I mean, it's hard to feel it.